The End Zone, sponsored by Noble McIntyre Law.
Welcome to another edition of The End Zone along with Cameron Johnson. I am Colby Daniels. So when we did the show 1 week ago, we didn't know the Thunder's postseason opponent yet. Since then, the Thunder are 2-0. The country collectively is whining about officiating. A key Thunder player has been injured, but they are now on their way to Arizona for a couple of games over the weekend. A lot can change in a week. And look, I'm just glad it's playoff basketball.
Yeah, you and me both. And to your point, you know you've made it whenever you have the whole country
That's right.
rooting against you, which granted, I've been on the hater side before. But now that it's a team that I support, I'm like, yeah, take it all in.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's a 2-0 lead, and being at the Paycom Center on Wednesday night, it was a very strange vibe in the arena because, the Thunder were playing really well. J-Dub particularly was playing really well. He gets injured. It wasn't like one of those things where it's an obvious injury and everybody's gasping because somebody's rolling around on the floor
Right.
and has to be stretchered off. It was kind of subtle. You noticed it. You noticed him limping, but it was kind of subtle. And the next thing you know, as we're all watching the bench, there's a timeout. He's not moving. He ends up going to the locker room. And, for the rest of the night, and it got a little bit close in the fourth quarter, at least close enough to where you had to continue to pay attention. I never thought the game was in jeopardy, but, you're looking at this game and the Thunder in a playoff series, and the J-Dub cloud feels like it is just lingering so massively over everything that it was I don't know how many people were like celebrating the win with like a cautious but I hope J-Dub is okay. I don't know. It was a very weird vibe. Like it wasn't like a normal playoff win.
Right.
In the Paycom Center when everybody's just, having the time of their life. Mark Daigneault spoke about J-Dub after the game.
I know there'll be a Dub question, so we think he aggravated his left hamstring. We'll take a look at him here over the next couple days, and we'll update you guys appropriately. Well, any assumption about time missed is hypothetical at this point, so I'm not going to comment on that, but I thought he was playing great, obviously. He was on the gas. He had great force, got really good shots, got good shots for his teammates, especially early. He was playing an outstanding game and was really good in game one as well. He's joking around. I dapped him up real quick right before I saw the team, but other than that, I didn't talk to him. I'll see him in the morning.
So there you go. Since then, they have updated us. It is a grade 1 hamstring pull, and now it's probably 1 to 2 weeks. He's going to be reevaluated on a weekly basis, and we'll go from there.
I think the biggest gut punch of it, especially for Dub, is all season long he's dealt with a hamstring injury on his right leg.
Right.
And now all of a sudden he's playing like the best player in the series through a game and a half, and then bam, left hamstring. Now, I think there might be some correlation there. You're probably like making up for the load on your other side and makes it more susceptible to injury. But still, yeah, that is a gut punch. Fortunately, I think it's a survivable injury at least through the remainder of this first round series.
When he was limping, the limp wasn't so bad that I thought like, oh no, this is long term, but hamstrings are tricky, and even if it's minor, it's not necessarily that you can't play, it's the risk of doing further damage that keeps you out for a longer period of time. As we saw with his first hamstring injury, coming back 2 games later, he's out again. That's the worry, is that you don't, rehab it well enough, you don't take enough time off, and then when you get back out there, it becomes more severe than it originally was. You're right. I think after game 1, and especially the first half of game 2, I'm like, J-Dub's the best player on the floor. He looked so fresh and explosive and just everything you want an athlete to be, and so unfortunate for him. The good thing is you're up 2-0 and you have the depth. I mean, if anybody in the NBA has the depth to, make up for maybe losing a star player like J-Dub for a series or two, it's the Thunder. But, long term, you've got to have him in the rotation. They did win the game, even though that kind of became secondary to the J-Dub injury. In his absence, I thought Chet played terrific, and especially A.J. Mitchell down the stretch. He is going to be a massive part of what they're going to do in this series and probably the early stages of the next series at minimum, from a ball handling standpoint and from a secondary scoring standpoint behind Shea.
Absolutely, and you heard players, his teammates, talking about it before the playoffs even began, just what a difference he's made down this final stretch of the regular season and now into the postseason. And as far as Chet Holmgren, there's a lot of players who are doing their thing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, SGA scoring 37 points, that's normal. But Chet Holmgren has been just playing phenomenal in this early part of the playoffs as well. And with the injuries we said all season long, it's a good thing they've gotten used to playing without these players. And now playoffs are different, but this will be a good test.
I felt like he started to assert himself in the closing weeks of the regular season, and that has carried over into these first 2 playoff matches. Chet has been fantastic. This was a series that coming into it, you felt like Dillon Brooks was going to be some sort of factor, and you love the matchup with he and Shea, and he guaranteed the win in game 1, and they got completely blown out. He and Shea had some pretty good matchups in game number 2, and we'll get to some of Shea's comments, but I want to hear from Dillon Brooks, first of all, on defending Shea. And as he's speaking and talking about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I want you to watch a couple of these highlights from Wednesday night's game.
It's a little frail. And that's what the refs are going to call. You got to be smarter about it, but, this is playoffs, a man's game. I used to watch this back when Michael Jordan was playing or whoever else when LeBron was younger. It's just physical basketball. I don't get why all the dropping, the falling, and the flopping, and the flailing, and all this stuff is allowed when we get to the playoffs.
Notice as he's talking about all the flopping and flailing, Phoenix Suns players are doing the exact same thing. This has been my biggest complaint about this whole whining and complaining about SGA or the Thunder in general is they're not doing anything that everybody else isn't doing. It just kind of became like this narrative that everybody latched onto.
He's been doing a real good job of giving bulletin board material to the Thunder. First, that guaranteeing the win in game 1, getting blown out. Come on. And then you say that when A, you lose again, but B, you're doing the exact same thing. I think it's annoying for Thunder fans, but it makes it more interesting to watch, or entertaining, I should say.
There was a pretty great altercation between SGA and Dillon Brooks in the second quarter. Shai was asked about it after the game, the exchange they had. This is what he said.
I think he blocked my shot in transition a couple plays before, and then I tried to pass it, and it tipped out of bounds, and he was screaming and hollering. And then he was just doing his usual antics, and then I scored on him. And, I let him hear it a little bit. I can't control what Dillon or anybody else on the other side is going to complain about. All I can do is try to go out there and win basketball games for my team. Dillon's doing what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to bring energy to the game, rile up the game. And once again, he did a good job of bringing energy to the game tonight. It was super fun out there, and I love playing against him.
There you go. One guy handles it one way, the other guy handles it another way, and the Thunder are up 2-0 at the end of the day. We did get some exclusive post-game footage of Devin Booker following the Game 2 loss, so check this out. It's been a rough go for the Phoenix Suns in these first 2 matchups. All right, that is Cameron Johnson. I am Colby Daniels. We're going to talk about some spring games, OU and OSU spring football next here on the End Zone. All right, welcome back to the End Zone. That is Cameron Johnson. I am Colby Daniels. We collectively attended both spring games in the state of Oklahoma last weekend. Some takeaways from Norman. First of all, I got to say, Zephan Walker really caught my eye. I know statistically it looked good, but even on the plays where he didn't get a big gain, there is just a natural explosiveness when he touches the football that I am excited to see translate into what maybe he could do with this offense. I know he's going to be behind some other players on the depth chart, but keep an eye on number 28 at running back. The running backs overall, I thought, looked really good in the spring game. So that's a positive. That's also, part of the offensive line being a year older. So I expect that the run game is going to be much better. The tight ends, we knew that just from the names they got via the portal, that was going to be a position that was going to be significant significantly better, also being coached by future Hall of Famer Jason Witten. Rocky Beers and Hayden Hansen, I think the two guys that are probably going to see the most time at tight end. Both of those guys I thought looked really good in the spring game. They looked the part. They're going to be big playmakers in this offense. Jashir Rogers, the freshman receiver who was on the white team actually, didn't have John Mateer throwing him the football, made a number of splash plays. OU didn't really utilize much of their receiver depth a year ago. I'll be curious to see what that looks like this year, but that might be a guy to keep an eye on if they do play more than 3 receivers for the entire year. Defensively, Danny Okoye and Cole Sullivan, I thought both showed up over and over and over and just were big-time effort guys. And then lastly, I'd be slightly worried about the quarterback depth overall. I mean, you hope you don't need it. You hope John Mateer is healthy the entire season. But Bo Bentley, I thought, looked very much like a true freshman. And you have a couple other guys that have never really played. So, Michael Hawkins was something, and what you have now is a completely different thing.
I liked what Mateer said after the game, I think it was, where he was saying that Bentley should go home and be upset about this and let it
get better,
get better, let it fuel you. So hopefully it does just that. Especially, I mean, you hope that Mateer's going to stay healthy, like you said, this year, but it's going to be a real test.
What did you see in Stillwater?
This was a fun one. I mean, a lot of question marks, a lot of eyes on the team, especially on Drew Mestemaker coming in at quarterback. He obviously got off to a rocky start with an interception on the first play of the game, but I actually heard Eric Morris come down the sideline later, and he was laughing about it. Like, it was more of a, he said, you want to go long, you want to do it, just try it.
Yeah.
But after that, I mean, he settled in and had, unofficial stats. I think he had 260, 70 yards, 3 touchdowns, a lot of which he connected with that guy right there, Wyatt Young, several times. That was a big connection at North Texas a season ago. And a popular target was on the receiving end of one of those touchdowns as well. I think we're going to expect to see that duo. Another guy, Chris Barnes. He was fun to watch. I think he ended up with 140-something yards. Fantastic day, 97-yard touchdown. And he's an explosive player. He's going to be fun to watch. My biggest question mark right now is around the quarterback rooms, running back. Caleb Hawkins, obviously the #1 guy, but we really didn't see a lot of him in the game as much. So
his
I think
game doesn't really translate to spring football.
Right.
Yeah.
We know what he's capable of, but I think as far as who's that running back, the second running back position there, I think that's still a mystery. I mean, a lot of guys, I'm blanking on who it was. One of them had 45 yards and then 21 yards. There's a lot of guys who can fill that gap. We'll see as fall camp goes. And then overall, you saw there the tarps coming off again in 231. The energy felt high. I didn't go to a spring game last year, so I didn't have anything to compare it to, but overall, it felt like the fan base was excited. Coach Morris excited to be there, and I think that's what fans deserve after the last few years.
Well, they desperately need some excitement over the football program with what's, like you said, happened over the last 2 years. All right, we got to take a timeout. It is Smash or Punt next here on the End Zone. All right, welcome back to the End Zone. It's time for Smash or Punt. That is Cameron Johnson. I'm Colby Daniels. I'll make a statement. If you agree with it, smash. If you disagree with it, you punt. It's going to be very NBA playoffs centric here. And we got to start with Dylan Brooks, obviously. I mean, he's at the center of a lot of the controversy in this Thunder Sun series. So, smash or punt, Dylan Brooks is a top 5 Thunder villain of all time. Has he broken through the top 5 yet?
I think it's still early. He's certainly, like I said earlier, he's given some good material to work his way up there. I'm just trying to think of the immediate top 5. I think he's going to be like right outside of it, but he's working his way up. So I'm going to say punt for now. Okay.
To me, there's 3 undisputed top 5s. It's Draymond, it's KD, and it's Pat Bev, right? I mean, I don't think any Thunder fan would argue that those 3 guys are probably on the list. And then after that, it's probably like dealer's choice. There's probably a bunch of different options that could make it. But I'm going to go punt, but I'm going to say prediction by the end of this series, he's going to be top 5 Thunder villain of all time. So he's very, very close. And I think in another week, we may be absolutely pushing him over the line. All right, smash or punt. Thunder up 2-0. They're going to hit the road now. Thunder will sweep the Suns.
With the Jalen Williams development, I think they still get it done at the most in 5. I do see a scenario where the Suns steal one back at
Okay.
home. So I'm going to say punt, but they get it done in 5.
Okay. I'm going to go smash. I think the Thunder, without J-Dub, obviously, are going to feel the need to do a little extra, and I just think the Suns just don't have enough.
Yeah.
The Thunder, I think, are going to have to help the Suns if the Suns are going to win a game, and I don't think the Thunder are in that position right now to maybe take their foot off the gas. So I'm going to say they do, but I could definitely see a scenario. Absolutely. All right, smash or punt. J-Dub should go to Luka's hamstring guy in Europe.
Hey, I mean, why not, right? Oh, gosh. I'm just going to say smash.
Okay.
Just why not?
I mean, who doesn't want to go to Europe, right?
Right.
It's
Get a
free
little
trip.
free, I don't know. If you can get back in time.
I'm going to go punt only because Luka's not back yet. Like,
That's
is
fair.
this treatment working or not? I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's at least worth considering. But we haven't seen anything from Luka, so who knows if it's
That's a
better
valid
or
point.
not.
Valid point.
All right, this one's going to be controversial. Smash or punt, you enjoy fans whining about the Thunder whistle, like opposing fans whining about the Thunder whistle?
Yes and no. I guess overall, like I said earlier, it means you're doing something, you're in a spot where you're winning a lot. I'm looking back on my times as a hater, but I'm going to say smash. I do enjoy it when you're on the winning side of things. I mean, especially when the whistle, they do so much else that makes them good. So I'm going to say smash.
Fans always whine about the opposing whistle, especially when they lose. Fans never complain about bad officiating when they win.
Right.
So I'm going to say smash all the way on fans whining about the whistle, but I'm going to punt if we changed it to the media whining about the whistle, because again, so many media members nationally have grasped onto this like low-hanging fruit. The Thunder get this whistle. The Thunder are doing these things that nobody else is doing, but everybody else is actually doing. So I love hearing the fans whine about it. I hate when some of the media gets lazy and just starts doing this like, well, the Thunder are doing everything different than anyone else.
Sure.
All right, last one. Spurs, Nuggets, both dropped a game on their home floor. One of those two will lose a first-round series.
It's easy to, if one of them's going to drop a series, I think it'll be the Spurs. I think that everything went wrong for them in game 2. I don't think they'll lose the series. I'm going to say punt.
Okay. I'm going to say punt as well. I think Denver's probably more likely to lose if it's one of them, only because I think Minnesota's a tough matchup for them no matter what. The Wemby concussion situation is obviously scary, but I think San Antonio will absolutely reel it in. All right, we're going to wrap up the show with the closing argument next on the End Zone. Welcome back, along with Noble McIntyre. I am Colby Daniels. It is time for the closing argument. Noble, it is finally NBA playoff time.
It
the
is.
Number 1 seed Thunder are back in action. There's nothing like being in the Paycom Center for a playoff game, and you get one of those like steel transition dunks, and the place just goes nuts. It's pretty awesome.
That place is loud. Those little clapper things. I feel like they need those when I have a jury trial.
That's right.
Just jury knocking those clappers together.
I'm in on that. Let's make that happen. When this series started, Dylan Brooks kind of came out and said, we're going to win this series, and the Thunder in for a rude awakening. He's kind of known as one of the biggest villains in the NBA. So for this week, I want to know, what is a starting 5 Thunder villain lineup for you?
I mean, you have to go with Patrick Beverly because of 2013 diving into Westbrook's knee changed the year.
100%.
I have to. Doncic 2 years ago, we were the number 1 overall seed, and they put us out in the second round. I don't like him either. Durant. Obviously Durant because of the way he left. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are kind of there together because of
almost
that 2016.
Of course.
And then I'm adding a new guy. I mean, Wembanyama has not been the villain yet in this, but he's going to be a potential villain. So he's going to be in the mix for me as well.
No Draymond Green. Draymond had the kick to Steven Adams.
He does. It's
lower
just
extremities.
Everybody hates Draymond, so I'm not going to give him the benefit and joy of being in my top 5.
The low-hanging fruit, you're going to keep him out. Dylan Brooks, maybe this series could move his way into that. I felt like the majority of people, when I talked about this, would say Patrick Beverly, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant unanimously. And then I think all the names you mentioned get thrown in the mix as well. Reggie Jackson is also one that gets thrown out because he kind of forced his way out of OKC, and it wasn't necessarily a happy parting of ways. Chris Paul, I think, at one point in time was on this list, but he redeemed himself
When he came back.
to
Yep.
Oklahoma City. But Klay Thompson, Game 6, broke everyone's heart.
We were up 3-1, and then he just could not miss.
Damian Lillard maybe on that list when he finished off the Thunder a few years ago in the postseason. And then the other one, Rudy Gobert.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was in there too, but he didn't. He doesn't rank in my top 5, but obviously he's a villain.
Yeah.
But I mean, Durant's got to be in it. Durant was so good for us, but then the way he left,
right?
I think that
go to the rival.
I still call him Cupcake.
Yeah,
he's
there
Cupcake.
You go. There you go. He hates it, by the way.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Don't do that, anybody. Make sure you don't do that if the Thunder see the Rockets in the second round. All right, that is the closing argument for Noble McIntyre. I'm Colby Daniels. We'll see you next week.